Imagine a future where the concept of a man is nothing more than a fading ghost, a distant memory of a biological era that once dominated the planet. This isn't science fiction, but a potential reality hidden within our cells. For 300 million years, a silent drama has been playing out in the microscopic theater of the human genome, and the protagonist is facing a terminal diagnosis. This sounds impossible when we see billions of men today, but the biological foundation of the male sex is crumbling. The Y chromosome, the code defining half of our species, is disappearing. It is shrinking at a rate that has left scientists stunned, raising a haunting question. Are we witnessing the beginning of the end for men? The Y chromosome is a fragile warrior, a lonely soldier standing guard at the gates of masculinity. While other chromosomes come in pairs, allowing them to swap genes and repair damage, the Y is an outcast. In the male body, it is paired with the X, a larger counterpart. Because they are so different, they cannot engage in the genetic dance of recombination. The Y has no backup, no safety net. When a mutation occurs, that piece of code is lost forever. Over millions of years, this isolation has turned the Y into an evolutionary casualty. It is a master of survival, slowly losing its grip on existence, a weary traveler carrying a burden with no one to share the load. To understand this fall, we must look back to the origins of mammals. Hundreds of millions of years ago, the ancestors of the X and Y were twins, both packed with nearly 1,000 functional genes. However, as the Y specialized in male development, it stopped playing well with others. It isolated itself, and in that isolation, it began to rot. The Y chromosome has lost its genetic wealth. Today, while the X remains a powerhouse with 1,000 genes, the Y has been stripped down to a mere fraction of its former self, possessing only about 50 functional genes. It is the remains of a genetic empire. This decline is why scientists are concerned. They have observed this rotting Y process with fascination and dread. The theory suggests it is an evolutionary dead end, a structure destined to vanish into the shadows of extinction. The decay isn't just slow, it is a relentless attrition. Some researchers point out that at the current rate of loss, the Y could be gone within a few million years, a heartbeat in the context of life on Earth. The fear isn't about the loss of DNA, it's about the loss of the instructions that make men, men. The core of this anxiety revolves around the SRY gene. This is the master switch for male development. In the womb, every embryo starts neutral. It is the SRY gene, located only on the Y chromosome, that flips the switch. It triggers the development of testes, setting the course for a male life. Without the Y and its SRY cargo, the biological path to manhood simply doesn't exist. This gene is the only reason the Y has survived this long. It is the reason for being for this embattled chromosome, the prize evolution has protected, even as the rest crumbled. Before we continue, subscribe to the channel and tell us in the comments where you are watching from. But even vital genes are not entirely safe from the reach of decay. The suspense lies in the realization that this isn't just a theoretical loss. We are talking about a biological expiration date. If the Y chromosome continues its downward spiral, the master switch itself may eventually be lost. We are standing on the precipice of a world where the mechanism that creates males could cease to function. The clock is ticking for our species, and the end might be much closer than we imagine, leaving us to wonder what comes next. The struggle for survival within our own cells is a silent war, a genetic conflict where the X chromosome holds all the strategic advantages. Unlike its counterpart, the X enjoys the luxury of a partner. When damage occurs, two X chromosomes exchange information, trimming errors and reinforcing their integrity through recombination. The Y chromosome is a solitary figure on the battlefield. It has no mirror image to lean on, no ally to help it purge mutations that accumulate over generations. This isolation is its greatest weakness, preventing the self-repair mechanisms that keep other DNA sequences healthy. While the X remains a bastion of stability, the Y navigates the currents of time alone, its genetic code slowly fraying like an old rope under tension. This has led to a fierce debate. One camp views the Y as an evolutionary dead end destined to collapse. They see the rotting Y as an inevitability, a countdown that began millions of years ago. Yet another group sees a master of survival. They argue that the Y has become incredibly efficient, focusing power on essential functions. They believe it is not dying, but streamlining itself for a long-term fight. Before we dive deeper, subscribe to follow this unfolding mystery. Do you believe technology can save the Y chromosome? Leave your thoughts in the comments. To understand where we are heading, look at nature's own experiments. In the rugged landscapes of Japan, a small creature known as the spiny rat provides a haunting glimpse into our future. This mammal has already achieved the unthinkable. It has completely lost its Y chromosome. Conventional wisdom suggested that this total loss would mean the end of males, yet the spiny rat thrives. It serves as a biological precedent, a living proof that life finds a way. In these rats, the master switch for masculinity didn't vanish, it migrated. Evolution, in a desperate bid to preserve the species, moved the essential male-determining instructions to a different chromosome altogether. This revelation has sent shockwaves through research laboratories, proving that the Y is not the only possible home for the blueprints of manhood. This biological detour has ignited tension regarding human evolution. We are witnessing what some call a mutation race, a frantic scramble where our bodies might be trying to safeguard the future by relocating vital genes. If the Y chromosome is a sinking ship, then the SRY gene is the captain looking for a new vessel. This process is fraught with danger. A sudden shift in how sex is determined could lead to a chaotic period of genetic instability, where the very definitions of biological gender are thrown into flux. The implications are staggering, suggesting that the human genome is a living landscape that is constantly rewriting its own laws to survive. As the Y chromosome continues its decline, the pressure on other chromosomes to take up the mantle increases. It is a high-stakes game of genetic musical chairs, where the music is the slow march of millions of years, and the prize is the survival of humanity. Beyond the cold data of modern laboratories, the potential end of men carries a profound emotional weight. It forces us to reflect on the very essence of human family structures and the deep bonds of love that have defined our history for millennia. If biological gender as we understand it were to change, what would happen to the concepts of fatherhood and the identity that half the population carries? We are talking about a fundamental shift in the human experience, a transformation that touches every aspect of our global culture. The disappearance of the Y chromosome is a mirror reflecting our deepest fears about extinction. This leads us to a bigger, more haunting question that echoes through the halls of science and philosophy alike. Is the slow and relentless dissolution of the Y chromosome a warning sign of our eventual extinction, or are we simply standing at the threshold of a magnificent and terrifying new stage of human evolution? The scientific search for a successor to the Y chromosome has led researchers to a powerful ally, the SOX9 gene. This gene is the actual architect of male anatomy, constructing the physical foundations of masculinity across generations. Normally, the SRY gene on the Y chromosome acts like a foreman, signaling for SOX9 to start the intricate work of building a male body. However, breakthroughs suggest that SOX9 might not need its supervisor forever. Scientists have discovered that specific genetic enhancers can allow SOX9 to activate itself, bypassing the need for a Y chromosome entirely. This revelation represents the climax of our genetic saga, offering a path forward for a species facing the eventual loss of its most iconic genetic marker. If SOX9 can operate independently across the population, the biological function of the male sex could survive even if the physical scaffold of the Y chromosome crumbles into history. This shift would usher in a world inhabited by post-Y humans. In this future, the binary dictated by X and Y chromosomes has dissolved into a more complex genetic landscape. Sex determination might be triggered by entirely different mechanisms, perhaps involving multiple genes or epigenetic factors influenced by the environment. This wouldn't be the end of humanity, but a profound reconfiguration of how we are biologically built. It could lead to a burst of genetic diversity, or create new biological challenges that our descendants will surely have to navigate. The stability we have known for millions of years is giving way to radical experimentation by nature, proving that the human blueprint is far more flexible and enduring than we ever dared to believe. Yet before we write the obituary for the Y chromosome, new evidence suggests it has one last trick. The rotting Y theory may have overlooked a defense mechanism hidden within its DNA. Researchers found that the Y chromosome has armored its vital sequences using gene conversion. By creating mirrored, palindromic sequences of its own code within the gene itself, the Y can use itself as a template for its own repairs. Even without a partner like the X, it can flip these mirrored sections to correct errors and purge harmful mutations that would lead to its demise. This hall of mirrors is a testament to the resilience of life, a sign that the Y chromosome is not a victim, but a stubborn survivor that has spent millions of years perfecting the art of doing more with less. This shifting perspective moves us from scientific fear to wonder regarding the resilience of life. The story of the Y chromosome is not just about loss, but incredible adaptation. Whether the Y stabilizes itself through mirrored defenses or passes the torch to the SOX9 gene, the message is one of endurance. Life does not surrender. It searches for every avenue to continue. The potential disappearance of a chromosome is not a harbinger of doom, but an invitation to witness evolution in real time. We see the human spirit of survival reflected in the microscopic strands of our existence, reminding us we are the product of a process that has overcome every obstacle for billions of years. In the end, the redemption of the Y chromosome lies in its ability to challenge what is essential at the very heart of our biology. We are left contemplating a future that is both alien and hopeful. This raises a bigger question. Are we witnessing the end of a gender, or the rebirth of our entire species? Perhaps being human is not tied to a single piece of DNA, but to the unstoppable drive of life to find a way, no matter the cost. Our history is written in change, and this transition is simply the latest chapter in an epic that is far from over. If you found this mind-blowing, like this video, and share your thoughts in the comments below. To explore how we might change our own destiny, watch our next video on the ethics of genetic engineering and human longevity.